Blog Talk Radio.
Happy Ugly Christmas Sweater Day, everybody. It is winter solstice. It's a beautiful day. It is December 21st, 2018, and welcome to Big Blend Radio's third Friday Family History Show. We're streaming live from a little chilly Tucson, Arizona. We're your hosts, Nancy Reed and Lisa Smith, the mother-daughter travel team and publishers of the digital interactive Big Blend Radio and TV magazine and Parks and Travel magazine. And you can see them both if you go to bigblendmagazines.com. Best thing to do is to sign up for our newsletter. It comes out every week. Except for this week, we got to take a break because it's the holidays.
Yay.
Exactly. But we'll be back with the next one coming out is going to have the Parks and Travel magazine that comes out every quarter. So if you go to bigblendmagazines.com, you can connect with our social media and everything there too and sign up for our newsletter. But I'm very excited about today. Today we're talking about family holiday traditions for Christmas. What kind of cookies do you bake in your family? That's the important question.
Oh,
we want to know about cookies. We want to know about your sweaters, all of that good stuff. We have some very special guests joining us. Of course, when it's our third Friday Family History Show, that means Holly T. Hansen, the Gen teacher, is back on the show. She's a genealogist and founder of Family History Expos, and I encourage you to go to her website and sign up for her newsletter too. It's familyhistoryexpos.com. Now, when you're getting into, starting your family history, she has everything on that website, and she has all kinds of cool online events and expos to really get you started. And if you're already knee-deep in your family history, she's got resources for you as well, no matter where your family lives. Isn't that right, Holly? Welcome. How are you?
Hey, good morning. I'm happy. Yes, we have a lot of material to help people. And
Good.
We're happy to do it. We're happy.
We like you to be happy. We want everyone to be happy. 'Tis the season of happiness. I want to bring Bobbi DePorter on the show. And now, Holly is our family history expert. Bobbi DePorter is our education and youth expert. Bobbi is the co-founder of SuperCamp, the world leader in summer academic achievement programs. She's also the president of Quantum Learning Network and the creator of the 8 Keys of Excellence and Awesome program. Definitely want to talk about that on the show today. It's a free family program. Helps develop character and it's really, principles for life and life skills. And you can go to the program. It's 8keys.org, the number 8, and also supercamp.com because it's never too late or too early to start planning your children's future in regards to getting them out there and going to SuperCamp and getting those extra skills needed. So, Bobbi, how are you?
I'm doing really well. Glad to be here.
Yay. Can we go to SuperCamp for Christmas?
Yeah, there you go.
I know. I like that idea. I like that. Good to have you back on the show. And, I've been wanting you and Holly on the show together for a while because, when we talk about family history, there's a big part of communication. So I'm very excited I know we've talked about this on shows, but finally it's here. It's happening. So yay. Also, everyone, we have another special guest, Arlene Eakle, joining us. I should say Dr. Arlene is here. She is a genealogist as well as a president and founder of the Genealogical Institute, and you can go to her website. It's arleneeakle.com. Arlene, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a great thing to be part of this today.
We're very excited. I know Holly has, I think the very first conversation I had with Holly, she was raving about you. I know that you were part of her International Family History Expo recently, and she raves about you, I think, every conversation we have. Isn't that right, Holly?
Yeah, that's right.
She's a fan. I appreciate her a lot.
You've known each other for quite a while, right?
Many years.
Yeah, a long time.
We've traveled and researched and spoken and done all kinds of things together.
Oh, that's wonderful, wonderful. Very excited also to have Nicki Kris back on the show, singer-songwriter Nicki Kris. She's getting ready to release her brand new album, Heartbeat, in February 2019. But today we get to play her new Christmas song remix. And everyone, I encourage you to go to her website, nikkikris.com. She's on our shows all the time. We play her music all the time because she rocks, and that's that. Nicki, welcome back. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm awesome. How are you?
Cool. Very excited to have you here, and excited, you and Bobbi, there's a connection there on the 8 Keys of Excellence. Nicki sat down and matched her lyrics to the 8 Keys of Excellence, and we've got a nice feature of it. It's up in, if you go to Big Blend, you just go to blendradioandtv.com. Just type in Nicki Kris. You'll hear her interviews in the past, and also be able to find that nice magazine feature you did. So the 8 Keys of Excellence, is that something you talk about with your children at home?
I do, and I actually recently just brought up that I was looking for the link the other day because somebody was asking me a similar type of question. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I did this interview, and I sent it to them. They were very excited about it because they were looking for ways to explain a lot of the key points in the 8 Keys of Excellence to their children. And I said, hey, you can, use this as an example of, pulling from song lyrics and things like that. So they were actually really excited. But, yeah, I use it with my kids all the time, and I'm also sharing it around.
Well, we love that. We love that. We're ambassadors for the 8 Keys, and Bobbi has sent us on 2 missions as we go on our Love Your Parks tour. For those who don't know, Nancy and I are going back on the road next year full time, and we say it's 3 years, 5 years, 8 years. It's become this lifelong quest to visit and cover and document every single park in the country. This is phase 2. And it's a permanent phase that we're going through. But Bobbi, she was part of our tour in the beginning of phase 1, and she said, well, as you travel the country, I want you to go get stories of the 8 Keys of Excellence, the different, keys of excellence. And now she sent us back out on the road. And she said, get out there and get some more stories of excellence, and we're going to get really cool stories in the different parks that we go to. There's so many leaders and communities, so we're going to do that, and also be off exploring youth success, getting stories about youth. And Holly sent us on a mission, too. She sent us on a mission to go and, do everything we possibly can on family history. So we're going to be busy.
Yeah, we are.
Yep.
I like it, though.
Yes.
I have to be busy.
I know. We're going to be very, very busy, very excited about it. And but everyone on today's show, we're going to talk about Christmas and family history. Steve Schneickert, we're going to air his segment where he recalls the Hollywood history of different Christmas movies. How cool is that?
Now, who doesn't like a really good Christmas
That's right.
movie, really?
That's right. And, Nicki, you know Steve. And, hey.
Yes,
and
I love Steve.
Everybody loves Steve. Everybody's got to love Steve. And
that's what our Christmas sweaters say. Everybody loves Steve.
Bobbi, you did a wonderful series with Steve on Hollywood history and the 8 Keys of Excellence.
That was so much fun. It's like then I couldn't watch anything without just going, okay, where are the keys? What keys are represented in this movie?
Yeah, I think it gets in there and it becomes a tradition. It's like, I don't know, anytime I hear a story, I'm like, well, what story of excellence? And then you hear people saying, well, so-and-so needs to take ownership. And I'm like, that's a good key. And I know I'm very excited. You and Holly are going to be on our anniversary show, 12-year anniversary show on January 6th. We're going to be airing live from Yuma, Arizona. We're going to meet Holly in person.
How about that?
Yay, we're going to go family historying together. And Steve will be on the show. He's going to do a special segment on Hollywood history of Abraham Lincoln, and he's going to do it live. It's going to be very cool.
I'm really excited about it.
Live performance. We like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're excited about that. So let's talk about family history, and when you think about the holiday season, for each of you, what is the very first memory that you can think of that is, this is a family tradition during this season? Let's start with you, Holly.
My earliest memory is waking up on Christmas morning and of lights. Santa Claus would come to our house, and he put up the tree and decorated it. It was just outside when we went to bed, and when we get up, it would be decorated and all these beautiful lights and little presents underneath. That's my first memory of Christmas, and it was like a magical thing.
I like that. I like that. Santa is so cool, and I think we should stay believing in him. For our whole lives. I never said it out of me. I love Santa.
Is that a hint?
Yeah, I do. I liked it because
if you don't believe in him, he won't bring you any presents.
That's right. That's exactly right, and I do believe in him. And my favorite part was always leaving carrots for the reindeer.
Yes, that was cool.
That was my thing, and I, it was very difficult not to eat his cookies. That's the hard part.
My mom used to always take one bite out of a chocolate chip cookie, and the rest was for Santa. And later on, we knew it was her. And one time, she told me how hard it was to just take one bite, and how many cookies she actually went through before she could just take one bite and leave a cookie.
Wow. See?
Yeah.
See? What about you, Bobbi? What's your earliest memory of a family tradition for Christmas and the holidays?
When you said that, the earliest just popped in with the tree again, but it was the bubble lights. They lit up and the little bubbles went up, and they were like little candles. And I can remember standing there just staring at them forever, it felt like. I just watched the bubbles go up.
Cool. Oh, I like that. And that's something we were talking about the other day. Is like when we went out to a park early yesterday morning, and so it was still dark, and you could see all the Christmas lights everywhere being lit up and magical. And I just see that's something. I don't want Christmas lights to only come out once a year. I think they should be permanent.
I think they should just stay up now. Once somebody's gone to all that trouble, just let them stay up.
Okay, basically, I want Christmas year round. Okay, that's really what it's coming down to. Exactly. Exactly. Arlene, for you, what is your earliest memory of Christmas?
Well, I don't know that it's my earliest, but one of the things that I do distinctly remember is that my school friends had told me there was no Santa Claus, and I was devastated.
Oh,
so
no.
I thought that meant no presents, that, there were a lot of things tied into that. But when I woke up on Christmas morning, all over my yard were reindeer tracks and sleigh marks. And so I knew there was a Santa Claus.
Wow.
Where did you live?
Yeah, I know.
I lived in a rural area, and it was back at a time when we got lots of snow, so we had lots of snow on the ground. It was very, very evident that there were sleigh tracks and reindeer tracks.
Oh, cool.
We had cows, but they weren't cows' prints. They were much smaller.
How cool.
That is really neat.
That's
I like
magical.
that. I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I know. Nikki, what about you?
I was sitting here thinking while everybody was talking. We had German Christmas, so we did.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Kris Kringle, not Kris Kringle. Gosh, now I can't even remember what we used to call him, but we celebrated Christmas on Christmas Eve. So that was really actually interesting growing up because it was a little bit different when Santa Claus came to all your friends on Christmas Day and he came to you the night before. So that was always a little bit challenging, but I actually remember one year when we were a little bit older, and this is when I was close to finding out that, there wasn't maybe Santa wasn't as, visionary as we thought, trying not to say, other things in case there are children listening. But we heard some, I remember my dad pretending, jingle bells and ho, ho, ho through the house type of thing. So that was always a lot of fun. But, we knew at an early age that, Santa wasn't who we really thought he was.
Well,
I'm trying not to give it away, but it's kind of hard.
Those are fighting words. You better be careful.
I know, I know. I love Santa Claus, though.
I know. It's so much fun. It's such a, it was interesting for me growing up in an area where, you think of Santa in the snow, and living on the equator was really interesting as a kid to think of Santa going through, going on a wild animal safari in Kenya. So that was a little different.
Oh my!
But it's funny. But it's interesting you talk about, having a German Christmas. So Holly or Arlene, that goes into family history, doesn't it?
It does.
Well, it certainly does.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on exactly where your family comes from, there will be, certain adaptations to what they remember over time.
And their traditions are different. Like my grandmother was very British, but she lived in the States since she was maybe 15 years old, 16 years old, something like that. And so she didn't really have a British accent as much as what I could tell as a kid, but her story about Santa Claus was he had a white beard and white hair because that was a symbol of purity. He wore a red jacket and red pants because that was a symbol of courage, because he had to fly at night with reindeer. And he had to have the big black boots and the big black belt because you needed to be able to take things off for relief from pain.
Wow.
Yeah, she had like a whole thing for all of his clothing. And, I always thought it was British, but it turned out it was a mix of her own makeup of what her parents told her and British traditions for colors.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
How that
is
on.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now when I think about it, where everybody has these traditions, I know, Bobbi, we've talked about family traditions before, but sometimes you create new ones too. That's part of it, like what my Nana did, obviously, too. She created her own Christmas stories.
She did. Yeah. Well, growing up as a child and the traditions, they feel so solid. This is what it is, This is what it should be forever. It's what it feels like. And when I grew up, we had 50 relatives around, and we all lived in the same area. And so, the grandmother was the matriarch, and all the aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody was there for Christmas Eve, and then we did Christmas morning with the family. And now, with my own children, it's like we moved around a lot. We weren't near my parents, and and now I have grandchildren. We're spread out all over. So I think, okay, it's like we make up new ones, that work. And every year it could even shift a little bit because of, okay, this is what's going to work this year, and not getting too attached, but jump into what's new.
Yeah.
In our family, we created a tradition of being Santa. Anyone can be Santa Claus. That's what we say. Everyone can be Santa Claus, and we would go do fun, surprising things for whoever we wanted to.
I
have a son who still loves to put on his Santa hat and make wishes come true, and it's a beautiful thing. It's fun. It's a lot of fun to serve other people. I think that's the best part of Christmas.
And cookies. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's
well, that's part of what we serve.
Yeah, no. Do any of you go have a family recipe that you get into in the holidays? Because I think that's really part of family history. Is there's food. I know, Holly, we're going to be doing special shows on that. What about you, Nicki? Do you bake and get into the kitchen and do something that's from your family's history?
I don't do from my family's history. Like I did in the past. I mean, actually, German cookies are a little bit different, and sometimes they actually can be a little bit difficult to make. I used to make something called Stollen, which is it's almost like a fruitcake, gingerbready type of thing. But now they sell it in World Market. So, it's just real easy to just go and buy it. But I do actually, I cook, I do bake some things for my kids. I do bake, just traditional like sugar cookies with frosting on top, and then I do chocolate covered pretzels.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Chocolate.
And then I know they're Well,
Ooh,
I'm going to assume that they taste really good because I can't eat them, which is why I've actually started now making my own little desserts for me so that I actually have something too. So
she's got her own dessert tray. I like that. I think we should, no matter what.
Yes.
No, but that's, I know, yeah, because we've talked about that before, being gluten-free and having to do that. But, there are some really delicious recipes. Flourless chocolate cake. We have a good one from Chef Jeremy Manley on our site, on blendradioandtv.com. And Ruth Milstein, Holly, you know Ruth, she makes gluten-free brownies. And you just see like this ooey gooey goodness.
They're really, really moist.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, can I just, face dive right into them? They're really, really good, really good. Holly, what about you? Do you do any special cooking?
Well, my husband and I now, all of our children are grown and they've gone. We still live rural. Every Christmas we make Christmas trees. They're made from puffed rice and marshmallows and butter, and we make these little Christmas trees, and then we deliver them to all of our neighbors. When my kids were home, and my mother taught me to make pecan logs and toffee. And but now I don't make those very often because I eat them all.
There it is.
No, but it's lovely that you take it around. I know in South Africa, when I was a teenager, and my friends, we were like a little, a good gang of friends. I know Nancy's sitting here.
I'm sitting right here.
I know, but no, but it was like a village, and it was, when we planned Christmas, it was all of our families met up with each other throughout the day. Like, so like Nancy knew all of, my friends' families,
and
my friends
important.
and their families, and it would be part of it. So like if, I remember the Rippons, Mr. Rippon, when it was his birthday, all of our friends were invited too, and their families. And so Christmas Day, I remember going to everyone's house, and boy, did we pig out. It was delicious because they can cook out there, but it's summertime there too. And we used to make all kinds of ice creams, and just it was different. We'd have beach Christmases as well. It was just different. But Nancy, there was that recipe that everybody would share.
The Herman cake.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea why it's called the Herman cake, but it
sounds
was
German.
some
of Nicki.
I know.
So if somebody would, they called it a starter, and they would deliver a cup of this batter to you, and then with the recipe of all the other stuff you're supposed to put into it, and then you'd make the full batter and keep a cup to deliver to somebody else. So that starter, and it was a really, really odd. It was good, but after about 10 to 15 people, the last person got a really strong batch of whatever we really were making because it was bubbling. It was bubbling in the cup by the last batch that was made. And that was the best starter of all.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like when you have those kinds of traditions, it becomes not just like from your family to other families, but it becomes kind of it's a regional thing too, and it's really cool because it's giving, and everybody, I think those kind of things come through, when people have gone across country on a wagon, or if they've, been through a depression, there are these kinds of recipes. So that's interesting. Is that something you see, Holly, when you're, digging up family history, is going through recipes and seeing something like that may give you a clue to where someone lived, or an era of what was going on in the world?
It really can. It can give you clues of ethnicity, because generally mothers pass their recipes to daughters, and women are the hardest to trace in our culture here in America, because so many gave up their name when they got married, and so recipes can do that. It's not something that's extremely easy. There are some things that right off you can go, oh, that's Italian. But some things, there's just a little flair to it. It's like, we've talked about dumplings. What is a dumpling? From an apple tart, that's wrapped with like a pie crust, it's an apple dumpling, to a bread dough that you drop in a pan of stew to make chicken and dumplings. So there are a lot of things, and they do have ethnic. Arlene knows a lot about that too. we've done some projects together where we've worked on the traditions and the foods of Christmas.
Wow!
And those are stronger. The Christmas foods are stronger tied to the family history because you hang on to that family thing. But something about Christmas and family, it's very powerful.
A friend of ours, Rondi, she's a Swedish family, and she makes. And Arlene, you may know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like a crepe almost, but not. It's like lefse or something. Lefse. It's like a pancakey. In South Africa,
it is a
like
type
a crepe
of crepe.
Too. Yeah,
it's a type of crepe, right? And and then depending on the way you what you add to it when you eat it, what kinds of toppings, whether you use cream or whether you use a sauce on it, will determine the places where your family came from.
Oh,
nice!
Wow, because don't they make it with potato or something, or am I getting that mixed up?
Well, there's
some
potato
pancakes.
Some
of them are made from that.
Yeah, there is potato pancakes. That's a German thing. Because I was also going to say we also have potato dumplings too.
And they puff way up when they're baking, and they're always amazing because they come out, looking all kinds of shapes, and you can decorate them to fit the shape that they are. I mean, it's real fun actually.
I think this is the time of year too for families to have this activity together. Put the phone down unless you're reading a recipe, but to get in the kitchen, and it's a good time, good excuse to really mess up your kitchen and get flour everywhere and have fun. I think, and Bobbi, isn't that part of it? When you think about the holiday season, is maybe even passing down those traditions with your kids.
Yes, in our family, we have for Christmas morning is Dutch babies, which is kind of a German pancake, but and we cook them in Pyrex glass bowls that we don't really use for anything else. So everyone in each one of our families, we have this whole stack of glass Pyrex bowls that we don't use for anything else. So.
Wow. Oh wow! So it's a special, and we have special dishes. Like we have special dessert / goblets that are made out of ceramic. It could be either way. Sometimes they're used for champagne sundaes. Just saying.
Yeah.
But our show, there's just special things, and sometimes to have those special, I don't know, makes everything unique. I remember Oprah doing a show about tea and high tea, and how she got. I remember she gave like a tea set to John Travolta because she got into this habit, and a friend turned her onto it of just sitting down and having tea at 3:00 every day. And having a special teacup, and it was really about being mindfulness. It's that take a breather.
British.
Yeah, and that's that same thing where it's like this is something special to bring out. So I like that. Arlene, what do you cook for the holidays? That's from your family.
Fruitcake.
Yeah, there
cool.
we go.
Yes.
In our family, we like fruitcake with lots of cherries and candied pineapple. And citron, which I often make myself.
Oh, wow.
And so one time I decided to quadruple the recipe, and that way I would have plenty of cakes to go around to everybody, but I wouldn't have to make them in different batches. What I forgot about was the cooking time. And since I only had one oven, I was up all night.
Oh, no.
And my family all remembers that, the night that I baked fruitcake for everybody.
All day.
I only did that once, though.
Did any of you ever build the gingerbread house thing?
Yes. We do that.
Yeah,
we do it after Thanksgiving dinner. While we're dairy farmers, and while everybody's at the farm feeding the cattle and making sure they're all milked, the women get the gingerbread ready, and then when the guys come back, we all decorate them.
Oh, that's so much fun. Well, this is the other part about family history, and I wondered about this because depending on where we lived, what I did for decorations changed. I mean, I remember, I know, Bobbi, we've talked with you about this. One year we had a thorn tree in Kenya for our Christmas tree, which was really pretty.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I remember making snowflakes was one of my coolest things.
Yeah, that was
and that's not a political statement, everyone. That was cutting up. They were just really magical.
Pretty.
And then learning about snowflakes and how amazing Mother Nature is, how she creates those ice crystals, and to me snow was a magical thing, and I hadn't seen that much of it until England. And when we lived there, and then everything changed. Everything was different. So, Holly, can that change according to your family, according to regions? That's a family tradition, is what you do for decor?
I'm sure it is. I haven't actually studied that. I know in my own family, my mother taught us to make popcorn ropes.
We did that.
Cranberries or dried apple and orange, and made. Everything was homemade garland, and my father, they are very different lifestyles growing up. For him, everything was, we had the tinsel and all of the lights, and but when we brought that all together, it was kind of a cool thing. But Mom grew up with homemade, everything was homemade, and Dad grew up with glitter and fancy things that you bought at the store.
Oh, I remember making glitter things and making cards. I want to go back to that tradition, actually, doing things instead of everything being emails. Nicki, do you do special things at your house and with your kids?
It actually varies year to year, depending. Now that my kids are getting a little bit older, I mean, when they were younger, we probably did a little bit more. The one thing that we do, and it's they were, with them being older, they were actually picking on me. We do the elf on the shelf.
Oh yeah.
And I've been Instagramming pictures of them and making little comments, and I have 2 teenage boys, and they're like, "Oh, that's for little kids." I'm like, "No, it's not." So I started hashtagging my little elf pictures, like not just for kids and things like that, because it's it's fun, even though we know that one of us is moving that elf around and putting him in weird spots. It's actually cool. Every morning coming downstairs. Where's the elf? Where's Oliver? Where's he hiding?
We've had we have Priscilla, our sock monkey, our travel mascot, but our whole family is like that, where you could go on a family vacation and open your suitcase and something weird pops out, or like a little toy.
That thing called that we called it John Henry. I don't know. This is between my mom and her twin sister, and it was this big metal thing about 4 or 5 inches, like this metal block. I don't know where they got it, and they named it John Henry, and it just went around our whole family and would pop up here, there, everywhere.
I know.
It's like Christmas pickle.
Yeah, we have one of those too. We have a pickle on our tree. But those
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, it's a little pickle. You're supposed to hide it in the tree.
Really?
I want a pickle. And then I think whoever finds it
at the airport.
I love pickles. I would eat it.
Embarrassing at the airport when they
It's
open
not
your
a real
suitcase.
pickle.
I know, but I want one now. Like, we're talking about all this food, and I'm hungry. Bobbi, Nicki brings up something interesting, because when the teenage years, when that starts, you go from, becoming a kid again with Christmas with your kids, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I'm too cool for that. I mean, and this doesn't, not just Christmas, but there's that stage of I'm too cool. How do you get past the I'm too cool for that?
You ask for grandchildren.
Yeah.
But it is, this is what we're doing.
15 and 13, they don't need to have grandkids. I don't need grandkids yet.
I think it's just, this is what's happening. This is what we do. I mean, my grandchildren are grown, actually. They're college age, and, they still have that feeling, though, that they want to be home for Christmas morning.
Mm-hmm.
And what that is, even when, they were going to come, they have a second home in Arizona, and that's where we're going to be for Christmas. But no, we have to be there for Christmas morning. So even, at 20 years old, it was like that tradition. And my daughter-in-law didn't want to do all the decorations, so instead of the big tree, they did a tree, a ladder, and they made handmade decorations and decorated this ladder. Much easier to take down because they flew out that night. So
No, we have a friend who does that along the ledge of her house. So she hangs it up like a string going right across her one room. All the different ornaments and things. So and that ornaments can be fun because you can collect them from around the world if you travel.
Some beautiful ones.
It's really it's
amazing.
Yeah, that's a whole thing too. Arlene, does that ever get into family history about ornaments, like the actual? I know there's decorations that we make with popcorn and apparently hanging pickles, but Arlene, does it ever go into like the actual? Is something going to be like that's more of a German ornament than a Scandinavian one? Or?
They've been making ornaments for many centuries.
Yeah.
They changed, from using leather and metals that were, it was an art to eventually to glass, blown glass to begin with, and then of course manufactured glass. And so over the years, depending on what mercantile access your family had, they would have their own. And it talks about every once in a while you'll see a little article will appear in a magazine or a newspaper, and they will talk about the eggs. And the egg we normally associate with Easter, but they were Christmas eggs. They were highly decorated, painted, sometimes with gold leaf. So they were valuable items. And I remember one time going to a genealogy conference in Minnesota where a lady attended from Austria, and she brought boxes and boxes of Austrian ornaments. And I bought a box. I was just intrigued by them because they were so different from anything I had encountered.
See, I like this. Now the tree's making me hungry. You've got eggs, pickles. You've got popcorn hanging on there. But no,
but these aren't edible.
Aren't they like the little Russian dolls too, like the little babushka thingies, where they keep like in different sizes?
There's one big egg and there's another one inside and another one inside, and it goes down till you get to the tiniest, the tamama thing.
And they have them. They have those that are decorated for Christmas as well. So each country does their traditions and their actual physical objects to their own, what they think is beautiful and lovely and valuable.
This is nice.
I always thought the egg inside the egg inside the egg inside the egg was about handing down a story. Like I always thought when you got to the very last egg, there was supposed to be something inside of it, like a fortune.
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yes,
so that's like Christmas crackers.
Yeah.
Do any of you do Christmas crackers? I know that was a British thing. In fact, Glenn Burrows, our family historian from England, he sent us Christmas crackers one year when we were in Yuma, Arizona. He sent it when we were on the tour, and we had so much fun because I miss those little things inside there. It's like Monopoly toys that come in there. But there was this little plastic fish that if you put it on your hand, it will twirl and do all these things.
Oh, yeah, because of the heat of your hand.
But, I mean, crackers were, no matter what, that when you pull them, it's going to go pop. And no matter what, you jump. I don't care. It's going to happen. You're going to jump. You get those little hats on and everything.
You can still find those in novelty stores. Sometimes you can find them at the dollar store.
Okay, I might be nice about the dollar store now.
As it gets time, for Christmas decorations to be brought out, you begin to see things like that.
Yeah, I love them.
One time I belonged to a little monthly club where every month they sent a different Christmas ornament or a Christmas decoration that you could have for Christmas. And sometimes you had to paint it. Sometimes you had to assemble it. Sometimes you just enjoyed it.
Wow.
Oh, that's nice.
Wow.
I like that.
I like that. And you know what? How about this? Do you remember, I remember when I got my first bank account and learning how to budget, and Nancy would sit and
I'm sitting right here.
She drilled into me about understanding money as a kid. And it started with doing a lot of chores at a very young age. She's like, if you want something, you're going to start working on it, and you're going to learn how to count your money and, all of that and what you're going to spend it on and all those things. And I remember that opening my first account as a kid. And at the same time, one of the first ways of doing it was to open like a special account just for Christmas. Do you? I don't know if they
I remember those.
Account.
There are still a few of those around. They're mostly incentives.
Yeah, I just wanted to be sure I was going to get a present.
Now it's college accounts. Now that's the thing. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they do have like teen checking accounts and stuff because both of my kids have those. So they give them like their own checking account, and then they have a debit card and all that stuff and everything. So they learn how to like manage money that way.
You know,
and some places still do what we used to call layaways, Christmas layaways.
Right.
Yep, Walmart does
and
that.
So you bought something in March, and you paid on it all year, and then you redeemed it at Christmas.
That's right.
Oh, that's
and then
smart
there's the man that paid them all off in Arkansas or someplace.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Actually, several
people
have started doing that. That man really started a really nice tradition.
That's really nice, and I think when people are doing layaway, number one, I think that's such a good lesson on money right there instead of credit cards.
The last person I read about doing that was actually Kanye West.
Yeah, he did something like that.
He did.
Wow.
And Kid Rock did it. Kanye West. Yeah, but this other guy, you're right.
He just did it now. Like that happened.
Yes.
See, now that, Bobbi, that's a symbol of excellence, wouldn't you say? That's a
I would.
I love that. I love that. You know, okay, so Bobbi, one thing I want to touch on because we're talking about all these traditions, and there's baking, there's making decorations and everything. How important is that when we think about family and kids using their hands and doing something other than being on a phone? I mean, nowadays, isn't that a way to kind of unplug them for a little bit?
Well, those are the special moments that they are going to remember later. So this is what we're doing. We're doing it together just as a statement, not asking. You know, this is what we're doing, but they'll remember that.
I like that.
And you know, when you do things like that with your children, they talk. And things that you might never hear about come out because you're spending time together, and it makes it so much easier when you do have to talk to a relation, somebody who's related. It makes it so much easier if you are in the habit of actually talking.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about texting. I'm talking about talking.
Actually having a conversation, and making something together. I think the thing where you can create something together in the holiday season really kind of has that is a special moment in your creating, and that's where you start to take chances when you create things. It's like, I'm going to put this color next to that one and see what happens. You can be outrageous when it's the holiday. That's why we have ugly sweaters. Because we can be as outrageous as we want. You can be as bright and cheerful as you want in Christmas time, and I think that's one of the most beautiful things about this holiday and celebration. And, of course, there's other holidays and celebrations. There's Kwanzaa. There's, even Hanukkah with all the lights. It's all about light.
What about the Advent calendar?
Oh, that's cool.
We used to my family always had the Advent calendar, and then there were so many kids in our families that you got your day assigned to you, what day you were the one who got to open the window.
I want that.
That's an interesting way to do it. That is one tradition that we still do in my house. My mom buys my boys an Advent calendar every year. For them to open.
Yeah. I want people to know that Holly's got a wonderful article about family holiday traditions, and it's right up on the homepage of blendradioandtv.com. And, it's so interesting how you created games. And I know one thing, holidays to me, board games are there. Got to say, spontaneous. We got to be spontaneous. But I know.
I did that last Christmas. That's what I bought my grandkids, and we sat around playing it when we went to visit.
Hey, he made it into another bestseller this year. He's just on track now. He lives in Nashville, and he's just doing. He's part of the Grand Ole Opry, going in there and sponsoring shows and doing amazing things. So it's just wonderful to see the journey of this board game. So spontaneous, everyone. The song game, it's great year round, and I think board games are that. But Holly, in your article, you talked about actually creating Christmas puzzles, like it's connected to your family history.
Right. There's so many things that we can do, and in today's world with technology, you can take a picture and cut it. There are just a lot of different things you can do. You can make cards and play match games, and the faces are your ancestors on the cards. And
that's a fun way to get kids involved. Yeah, play with. So
depending
faces.
on the ages of there's a new game that's out. It's called the Game of Genealogy. It's like the old Clue game.
Oh,
cool. I grew up playing Clue as a kid. But it's called the Game of Genealogy, and it teaches you the kinds of places to look for records. Rather than the library, the kitchen or the hall.
We better play it because
apparently
you're sending us to all kinds of interesting places for family history. I didn't even think about college libraries and university libraries, and the more we talk with you, the more we learn. Like really, basically, family history is in everything. It's connected to absolutely everything. It's fascinating, and for families now, and I know sometimes kids get into that. Oh, I want to start, knowing our family history. That's part of that conversation, right? So what are the first things, Holly? I know you've got so many books and, so much, you've got Christmas Memories, that one book as well on your site. So everyone, you can go to familyhistoryexpos.com. But what would be some of the first steps if a family says, hey, let's this year start a tradition of actually digging into our family history? I know a lot of people do the 23andMe over the holiday season. So it kind of is that season of family history. It starts to have that spark. What are the first steps?
Really is to collect what you already know. There are a lot of things. I've been listening to each of you talk today, and there are a lot of things that you know about your family history that you haven't thought of that it's family history. And so you kind of collecting, you start out with who am I and who are my parents. It's like a little pedigree, and you can put the names of the people who are on there just to give you a base of, but then you look a little bit deeper and where did they come from and what kind of special traditions did they have. I remember my father talking about mincemeat pie. His mother made fruit cake soaked in rum and mincemeat pies. And I love.
You got Nancy's
pie.
attention.
Nana she used to make that fruit cake and put this lemon icing on the top, and then she'd put a big candle down through the middle and throw rum on it, and woof, light a match.
Wow. Yeah. That's some explosive family history.
Yeah, cool. They were wrapped in cloth and soaked in rum, and they were, they had to age, sit out in the cold for, weeks before you ate them. They were not made the night before Christmas. They were made.
No, they were not.
Far in advance. And my dad and I are the only ones that like fruit cake. There's 6 siblings in our family, and I'm the only one that likes it. And mincemeat pie. And my mother will always say, you wouldn't like Grandma's mincemeat pie because she made it with beef. It had real meat in it. It wasn't just raisins, but beef. I probably
There's a Scottish
like
recipe with that. There's a Scottish recipe that does beef and raisins and currants.
That's right. My grandfather was born in Scotland, and so those things, they do tie you back to your heritage. But my grandmother made it, and maybe that's the reason she made it was for him.
Oh, wow. How interesting is this? So, when we look at our family history and we start, having these conversations with relatives, Bobbi has taught us this amazing exercise, and I think it's such a good thing, especially sometimes you have new family, right, and new people coming into the family, maybe through marriage or sometimes people find, lost cousins meet each other, I think of Glenn, who, is digging his family history, and all of a sudden he's in Canada twice now on a vacation meeting his family, his long-lost cousins, and then being able to stand and go from England to Canada and stand where one of his ancestors went to Canada as part of the 1812 war, I think it was, or one of those wars, and he's standing there where his ancestor was. So he went all the way to Canada for his family history. It's cool. So when I think about these stories and communicating sometimes, how do we start? And Bobbi, you have the wonderful exercise, and I know people even got married over it. Do you want to share the story?
Well, we call it the affinity exercise, and it's asking 3 questions to another person, and the person's only response is "thank you," with no response, so that they just get to share. So the first one is, tell me something I don't know about you, which is really interesting. I mean, if you don't know the person, okay, but I've even done it with Joe, you know. It's like my husband. It's like looking at, tell me something I don't know about you. And the person says it, and then you say thank you. And the next question is, tell me something you like about me. And it was like, oh, wow, to ask that question. But, you know, there's a lot of nice sharing that happens with that. And the third question is, tell me something we have in common. So, and then you can go back and forth, round after round after round, going back and forth. And, you know, you can do it a dozen times, and there'll always be something new that comes up.
I love that. I think it's such a cool exercise. And I think now we're, again, unplugging, and it's just a really, it's a way of people being attentive to each other. You know?
Even bridging the age gap, because I know in my family it was like all the kids go outside and play, and the women are in the kitchen drinking and cooking and doing funny things, and then the men were always watching the television. And then at one time I remember looking at my grandfather and thinking, wow, man, he's really old. And and I noticed that he had his chair. That was his chair. Nobody was allowed to sit in it ever. And he never.
Was his name Archie?
No, Albert.
I'm just kidding.
But
I'm just kidding.
He never really talked to us, and it was only later on that I was told he was actually deaf. I didn't really know. And when nobody talked to him, and then I thought, like, no, I'm going to go talk to him, because he seemed to be able to speak to people, and he had a job. And I didn't understand and so, but I wish I had the kind of questions, because I was like, I went and stood in front of him. I was going to talk to him, and I'm like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he was the oldest person that I knew.
It's and as a little kid, that's like,
it was like,
if you're 20 years old, you're old when you know.
Yeah.
To little kids.
Oh, yeah, I always said every book I read, that the historic novel said the woman died at 46. So when I got to 45, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Nice. Arlene, would you use those kinds of questions in regards to when you do, because you're all investigators, family historians and genealogists, you're investigators. Would you use that when you're questioning a relative?
I think they're amazing questions. I've never done that, but you know, I can think of lots of uses for those questions, and it would bring out all kinds of things.
And what about
you could do, tell me something I don't know about grandfather so and so, or Aunt Nellie, or you know, you might get. You might get more than you want to know out of it. Who knows?
Well,
but I can think that they could be extremely useful.
You know, I think it's really exciting for kids to get involved in, you know, thinking about those questions. It'd be kind of nice if things are documented in a way. It's you know, because you want to document the family history, maybe record it, like, you know, make a podcast with your family. I don't know, somehow film it or record it. Yeah, so that you have that free-flowing conversation where you can still be intent and listen and not have to take notes, but have that.
One of the things that we've done in the past is to set up a tape recorder behind the couch, you know, that picks up all of the conversations in the immediate vicinity of the couch. And so, I mean, you can get all kinds of things that are, you know, well, not usually bad, and then you have somebody who's being there to feed questions, especially to the older people in the group. You know, so I've got responses from my grandparents that I would not have otherwise, because they didn't realize they were being recorded. I don't know that it's illegal in your own family. It would be if you set it up in a public venue of any kind, but with your immediate family, with the kinds of questions that were fed, we learned a lot, you know, from our grandparents that we never would have known.
That's amazing. I wanted to ask Nicki, do you do, because I know you're into history and you've done a lot of world travel. You've been on our world parties talking about history and places. Do you do anything in regards to, and you were on with Glenn too, weren't you?
Yep.
Glenn Burrows? Yeah, you were.
Yep.
So, do you do any family history? Do you look in the past?
I've done a little bit. I was adopted, so it's a little bit challenging in that regard. But I have looked into my adopted parents' past, and I actually even traced my father's family back to one of the original kings of Ireland.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, I
Cool.
did actually that in college. I took a genealogy class, and that was one of the things that we did. Yeah, and I got like the family crest and all that fun stuff and everything. So it was neat to kind of trace that back. And I've done like the ancestry.com, and I've also done the DNA genealogy thing where you can send your DNA in and they'll tell you where you come from and what percentage you are and that type of thing. So I've done those types of things, and my sons have actually done like smaller versions of family tree in school. They actually, several projects growing up, they were required to go back, I think at least to like grandparents and maybe great-grandparents. So we've done a little bit.
It's cool. I got into family trees by reading historic novels because they would put the tree on the inside, and I was always
I
like,
love that.
look at this person over here, and then it's like, and then later you go, well, that person really didn't like that person.
You got to be
family
careful.
trees are fun. We have a family tree sitting in front of us. It's it's from Kenya, and it's carved out of what is that again?
It's from the Wakamba tribe.
Wakamba tribe,
and, it's about 2.5 feet tall. And it's supposed to be ebony, but it isn't really. I found that out when the paint chipped.
Yeah.
But anyway, as the carving goes up, the person sitting at the very bottom of the base of it, it's like a tree trunk, is the great grandfather.
It's a carving.
And then and it's carved and kind of shaped like a pickle. Here we go. And then the next one would be his wife, but she's kind of sitting on his knees. And then there's an upside down little baby, which means the baby died, which is sad. And then there's another one, and then there's twins, and then there's like the twins have somebody else's arms wrapped around their two heads, and they're identical. So this is their family tree that they carved over so many years of I mean, it's a replica of. It's not.
It's symbolic.
You know what I mean? It's like because you can't go get somebody else's family tree, but this is the way they carve. And then at the very top is the grandfather's head, looking out at you. So he's sitting at the bottom, but he's looking towards his wife. At the top is his head looking at you. It's really, it's really well done. It's just interesting.
I bet Holly, Paul would like that. He would know about these.
Oh yeah, he would. He would love that. Paul, one of the things, Paul always brings me a puzzle when he comes from Africa, a giraffe or a.
Cool. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Fun things.
Yeah, he's amazing. Paul Ajay, who was one of your instructors at your International Family History Expo. And that's going to happen again next year? You're going to do another big Family History Expo that's like global like that? Because that was so cool. You had like every country represented.
We've got scheduled for August 5th through the 10th. So it's already in the works and coming right along. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So I have two questions for you in closing. Then we're going to play some of Nicki's new music or remix music, Christmas music, and we've got some Hollywood history coming up and more music. Okay, so each of you, this is my new questioning. I'm stealing it from Bobbi. Okay, no. What is one thing that you did this year, 2018, that made you proud? It could be small, big. It's just something that if Santa saw that, you would get that present you want. So if you're going to write to Santa and say, I did this, so I deserve my present, what did you do this year that makes you happy or proud? So let's start with you, Nicki.
Oh, I was hoping I wasn't going to be first.
Ha ha.
Happy or proud? Geez. I'm happy and proud of my kids.
That's cool.
You know, they both are working really hard in school, and really doing well. So I'm proud of that and happy about that.
That's lovely. That's lovely. What about you, Bobbi?
Well, one is, we travel quite a bit, Joe and I, and it's always like, oh, we're coming through Chicago and see the family. And then we were realizing, we haven't, our travel hasn't taken that direction, so it was just taking a week and seeing Joe's sister and my son and my daughter and family in 3 different cities. So it was just nothing but go see family week.
Wow, cool.
That's nice. I like that. Santa will give you your present. Okay, Arlene, tell Santa what you did.
I got the lights installed in my genealogy library in Tremont, Utah, so that we can see all of the many collections that have been donated there.
Wow, cool.
That is awesome. And so, are you like Holly with thousands of books? All these research archives and.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Well, you've got an institute, man. Don't mess with Arlene. She's got an institute going. What about you, Holly?
I'm really for this last year. Of course, my family things are always like the most exciting, but I really am pleased that we did the International Expo. We brought vendors from across the world, speakers from across the world. We had live chat boxes for all of the exhibitor booths. It was an online thing that no one's ever done before, and that was exciting to use technology in a way that no industry has ever done before.
It's really cool because she's got like an expo where you can go and visit the actual vendor booths online on the website. Click, and you can talk to the vendors, through a little chat through there during this expo, and it was like nonstop. I mean, you had family history, all these presentations, it was for days, and it was just like nonstop, and we went around the world, and I thought that was really, and it takes something to do it, do something new, and whenever it's something new, there's education that's involved, and it's new for you, and because you're used to going around and doing the actual expos in person, and I thought it was really novel. It was innovative.
Well,
That's
I come
the
up
word.
with these ideas. And I love to figure out ways to help people become more efficient with their family history. And I've come up with a bazillion ideas over time, and we've acted upon many of them. And Arlene has been, she's my mentor, but she also believes in me. And when I come up with we'll call it a harebrained idea, she'll say, well, I don't know, I've never done that, but let's try. And that's why she's my good friend, is because she knows all this stuff, and I'm constantly learning from her. But she's also, the reason she knows so much is because she will learn more, and she'll take a chance, and she'll say, that no one's ever done that before, but let's try. And that's what I like to surround myself with, people who are willing to be excited to learn and try something they've never done before. It's really fabulous.
I like that. I like that.
Cool.
Nancy, what you didn't tell Santa?
About the color of his beard. No. Well, there's dyes out there, No. Wouldn't that be funny if he came out with red hair?
Yeah, I like that.
That'd be really funny. No, the commitment to go back on the road is, we got kind of cozy here, and cozy is nice, and we got kind
we're
of
not good at it.
Settled, and then all of a sudden it's like, what is
this is it.
Yeah. So the this is it key
of excellence
just came in and said, nah, you need to go back on the road, because there's so much more out there to discover and present by video, by interviews, by articles, that the pull was strong, and I'm glad we made that decision to go back on the road. And I'm also glad that we're not doing a finite, it's going to be this many months or that many years.
It's on.
Yeah.
It's a journey. I think, for me, when I look at this year, it's about getting ready and taking that leap. I'm 100% with you on that. It's that.
Big.
It is this is it. And taking ownership and really doing, to really commit to something that you believe so strongly. It's a very exciting time. I like that. And that we're going to meet so many people.
I know.
And we get to go see Bobbi again.
Well, look at it.
And we get to meet Holly.
Like that.
January.
We're going to meet people that we've been talking to.
And we're going to meet Nicki, because Nicki's going to take us to parks in North Carolina, right? Remember?
Yeah.
About that. Yeah. Arlene will meet you when we get to Utah. One thing before I have a really fun question for you all. But I wanted to just go back to the 8 Keys of Excellence, because there's no way we're not going to talk about them. Not on this show. The 8 Keys, I think this is something I really just want to touch on, Bobbi, because it's something that can be that conversation that families can have this year, and it's something that they can give each other for the holidays. This is a free thing for families. It's a free program. So do you want to give everyone an overview of the 8 Keys?
Yes, I will. I'd love to. The first key is integrity, match values with behavior. And I think this time is very much about if you value family, it's like how does that show up right now with the holidays? And failure leads to success. It's learning what didn't work in the past, and learning from it. And it's just what brought you the most joy in the past, and what can you learn, to set it up for the best this season. And speak with good purpose is all about with best intentions, no matter what. It's always like, what's the best intention in mind? What I'm saying, this is it. There's a lot of that in the holidays. It's just like roll with it. This is it. Commitment, make your dreams happen. Ownership. Ownership is being responsible for your actions and feelings. So it's really being about responsible for bringing about your own joy rather than worrying about others. Say flexibility. It's I don't need to say anything more about that one for the holidays. I know it brings up lots of opportunity for flexibility. Always looking at what's the best option right now for everyone. And balance, live your best life. Be mindful of yourself and others while focusing on what's meaningful and important in your life. And I love that right now about the holidays of just your family is important and you're spending time with them, and that's where you keep your focus right now.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So the 8 Keys, everyone, it's the number 8keys.org, and there's also not only there's a free family program, but there's a special program for schools as well, which is very exciting to get this into schools, into communities, and every time you see us when we come to your town, we're going to be carrying our big keys. We have big keys, don't we, Bobbi? Those really big keys of excellence, and we're going to put them on the dashboard. Every day we're going to have another one on the dashboard to look at on the car.
They would make a nice license plate.
Exactly. They're cool. Yeah. I want it. Bobbi.
Isn't that a good idea?
Bobbi.
Yeah.
We need 8 Keys license plates.
Yes.
I like the wristbands because that's a reminder as well. Okay, so my fun question for you all, because we're talking about family history, okay? And you've all done some part of it somewhere in life. And so it's a history show, which means we love to get in the time machine. This is our favorite thing, okay? So what I want to know is you get to go in the time machine, okay? And you get to get out at Christmas anywhere and meet anybody you want. It could be from your family. It could be, hey, I want that family. I want to be part of that family. But you get to get out anywhere in the world at any time frame, in the future or in the past. It's up to you. You have the controls. But our little sock monkey Priscilla's driving the machine because she's a good driver. So we're going to get in, and each of you get to say where you want to get out. So hang tight. Is everybody ready?
Yep.
And we're floating. We're in the abyss. Yes. So let's start with you, Arlene, since it's the first time you've been on the show. It's so nice here. But I'm going to pass you some cookies. Would you like a cookie before you get out? I baked them myself. So where would you like to get out of the time machine and meet and hang out for Christmas? You're going to spend Christmas with somebody.
I would like to get out in Virginia.
Ooh, cool. It's going to be snowing.
Spend time with George Washington and his family.
Oh, wow. Well, that's like, and that's a la-di-da estate you get to go hang out in, you know. I hear that he's got cherry trees and some of the original apple trees and roses that came to this country. I don't know if that's true.
Yes, and there are roses that bloom in the wintertime.
Wow.
Really?
Yes, they're called Christmas roses.
I didn't know that.
Wow, look at that.
I do know that the rose is America's national flower.
Yes.
There we go.
But you have to be in a warmer climate. You know, it's kind of hard. It would have to be carefully controlled conditions if it were in Utah, for example, where I live.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can have a greenhouse.
That's what I'd have to have carefully.
I know.
Design one.
I want a
for
greenhouse.
Winter roses.
Yeah, I love that. We saw when we were in Yosemite area. There's a little historic gold town called Columbia. It's actually the best preserved true gold mining town from the gold rush in the country. And the people dress up. It's living history.
So much fun.
And there's a lady, Rosemary, and she's since retired from this, but she has, what was it, over 700 rose varieties?
1,800,
that's right.
1,800
and one of them,
plants.
it was 700-year-old rose variety that was green, a green rose from China.
Yes.
That was like a 700-year-old.
It was just amazing.
Yeah. So there. Anyway, don't start me on roses, because once I start, we have the largest rose tree in the world here, in Tombstone, Arizona.
Tombstone.
Yep.
It's over 100 years old.
Come on, Arlene, you need to come for a road trip here, because we got roses. You got to come for a road trip. Okay, so you're going to Virginia to hang out with the Washingtons. I like that. Bobbi, where are you going? Where are you getting out?
I'm going to get out in Seattle, and just when I was a child, just bringing it up and talking about, traditions and what it was. I grew up in a big house on Lake Washington, and as I said, there were so many relatives and family, and so many of them have passed on that were there, that just to be back in time with all of them and to ask questions that, I don't know, and have that opportunity to interact, and just so much emotion and connection. So.
Awesome. Awesome. We're going to Washington next year.
All right.
2019 or 2020. Yeah, Anacortes. We're going to go to Anacortes.
I can't wait.
I can't wait.
Excited
and
about
probably
that.
Whidbey Island and those areas.
Know. It's so cool.
I love that. And I have a special story of excellence coming to a magazine near you that has to do with the state of Washington and powerful women who climbed Mount Rainier. But anyway, it's one of my favorite stories of all time. Anyhow, so everyone watch for that in the Parks and Travel magazine coming up. Okay, so Holly, where are you getting out?
I want to go to Ayr, Scotland. That's where my grandfather was born. Cool. And I want to go there. When he was a child, a little 2-year-old baby, and I want to learn what Christmas was like in Ayr in 1897.
Ooh, cool. Wow, 1897. Now, wow, this is cool. This is cool. Nicki, where are you getting out?
I'm getting out in Hawaii.
You could have a blue Christmas.
I said that with forcefulness, didn't I? Actually, one of the places that I've always wanted to visit, but I actually would like to get out maybe 100 years or so, ago, and kind of experience Christmas from an island perspective and all their traditions and so on and so forth. I think that and it would be nice and warm and sunny too.
Well, can I say this, Nicki? You should apply. The National Parks Arts Foundation, our good friends,
you should.
They have a 6-bedroom house, so your entire family can go. For a month, you go and be an artist in residence. Apply to be an artist in residence at the Hawaii volcanoes.
Yeah.
I have looked at their artist in residence programs, and that would require that I actually learn how to play an instrument. Or that I could actually play an instrument with some proficiency, because I think they actually do. They look for individuals that can accompany themselves.
Actually, you could work with your producer probably. I'm not. I'll find out. Let me find out.
I can look too.
Yeah,
I've been on their site a couple of times actually.
They're amazing, and I mean, you could go to Gettysburg, you could go to, all these places.
Get a xylophone.
I know.
It can't be that hard.
I know. Ding, Okay.
A xylophone.
Well, no, but Nicki writes.
Could you imagine
amazing
Captain
music.
America on a xylophone?
Yes. Ping. But Nicki really has an amazing voice, as a lot of you have heard her on our shows. We like to play Captain America for the 8 Keys of Excellence all the time too. But we're going to play. You've got not a brand new song, but it's a remix, right? And so tell us about this. You've got The Best Part of Christmas Is You. We're going to play that now. So this is a brand new remix that no one has yet, and we do. Yay!
Yes, yay! So fresh, hot off the press. So we released this song last year, and it was mixed in a way that it needed to be lightened up a little bit from a Christmas song perspective. We felt that it was a little bit heavy. But, we did it that way on purpose, kind of like an 80s throwback type of, think of Wham! Last Christmas type of style Christmas song. But we just felt that it would be a lot more cheery and a lot more cheerful if it was a lighter mix. So that's what Kevin, who is my producer and co-writer on this song, that's what he did. So he lightened up a little bit. We totally recut the vocals, so this is a fresh vocal as well, and it just makes it that much more bright and cheery and Christmassy.
Love it. I love it. And everyone, we're going to play it now. The Best Part of Christmas Is You. And we're also going to play My Christmas Wish at the end of the show. But we've got some Hollywood history in between there because we love our Christmas Hollywood history. And by the way, Steve Schneickert says hello to all of you, our Hollywood historian. He's been listening in and looks forward to chatting with you, Bobbi and Holly, on January 6th. Now, Nicki will be back on our show January 20th to talk about her brand new album coming up in early February. So stay tuned for that. And you can keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. And also go to Nicki's website, nickikris.com. Sign up for her newsletter to keep abreast of things, because I heard that if you sign up for a newsletter, you get a song. Is that right?
That is. You actually get Captain America.
See?
Nice.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
On the xylophone.
Also, please keep up with SuperCamp and the 8 Keys. So it's supercamp.com, the 8 Keys. It's the number 8, 8keys.org. Arlene, as arleneeakle.com. That's the best website for you?
It is.
Well, thank you. And also, everyone, familyhistoryexpos.com. When you think about family history, everything's there. Just go. Go do it and start digging in your history and asking those amazing questions. I want to thank you all for joining Nancy and I here, and our listeners. I know they've had a good time talking about Christmas, and I think we're all hungry. And Nicki, please send me those chocolate-covered pretzels.
Virtual send.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Holly.
Lisa, I wanted to tell you I Love My Parks T-shirt arrived, and I love it. It's gorgeous.
Oh, you got your Parks
cool.
T-shirt.
Thank
Awesome.
My
Thank
T-shirt
you.
came
Thank you.
this week.
And everyone, we have a second one coming out. So this is our first of the series. It's we say it helps us on some gas money, but it's really our fundraising arm of what we do is on our tour. We wanted to incorporate that because people talk to us like, hey, we want something from the tour. So we started a T-shirt series, and the National Parks Arts Foundation gets now 50% of every T-shirt sold from this T-shirt. It's our first one saying I love my parks and showing all the different things people can do in parks. And we have a second one coming out. So everybody, you can go to nationalparktraveling.com and see what Holly's talking about. So thank you for being one of our first people to order a T-shirt.
Thank you.
Our next one's coming out in January, for January 1st, is a bald eagle, and 25% of the proceeds goes to the Independence Fund, and it's a fundraiser through Christy Wood, is a horse trainer, and this is her second campaign of working to raise $15,000 to purchase an all-terrain wheelchair for a veteran that's come home, so they are mobile. And on the 19th, on Wednesday, they just had a big event in Visalia, California, where she and the Independence Fund actually handed over the first wheelchair that she raised for a veteran. So we're going to be partnering with her on that, and also the other 25% going to the National Parks Arts Foundation as well, because the arts are actually play a pivotal role of why we even have our national park system.
That's right.
Comes from the artists who went out and explored toured and showed everybody the magnificence of our country. And America has the honor of being the very first country with a National Park Service. So there you go. So the arts plays a role. So the arts play the role in everything. And I know that, Bobbi, we're going to do one for the Learning Forum International. That's going to be happening, right? And when we do San Diego.
Cool. Yes,
and
that'll be great.
And that helps everyone in regards. You do like a scholarship for specific kids, right? They can apply for a scholarship for SuperCamp through that.
Yes, they can.
Awesome.
We're real proud of that.
All right. Anyway, we're going to play one of our little Christmas songs from Nicki, because I want to call her Chrissy, but I won't.
You almost did it.
I just did. I didn't do that on purpose. But thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Bobbi. Thank you, Nicki. Thank you, Arlene. It's been a pleasure having you all on the show today.
Yep. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you.
Merry
Christmas.
Here it is, everyone. Bye, Holly. Here it is. The best part of Christmas is you.
It's that special time of year. Time to hang up all the lights, spread some holiday cheer. Cozy up around fireplace at night. It's a beautiful sight. And if I had just one wish, I'd wrap you in a bow, place you right under the mistletoe. 'Cause this much I know is true. The best part of Christmas is you. Listen to the church bells, hear them ring. Holly, hallelujah, hear the angels sing. Doesn't really matter what Santa brings. Don't need lots of presents or design a thing. Forget about all the silly family feud. Gather round together 'cause there's no excuse. May all your dreams and wishes come true. 'Cause the best part of Christmas is you. Off to another gathering of friends. I can't wait until we're back home again. We toast with the ones that we know and remember the loved ones that we let go. And if I had just one wish, I'd wrap you in a bow, place you right on the mistletoe. This much I know is true. The best part of Christmas is you. Listen to the church bells, hear them ring. Holly, hallelujah, hear the angels sing. Doesn't really matter what Santa brings. Don't need lots of presents or design a thing. Forget about all the silly family feud. Gather round together 'cause there's no excuse. May all your dreams and wishes come true. 'Cause the best part of Christmas is you. Oh, listen to the church bells, hear them ring. Holly, hallelujah, hear the angels sing. Doesn't really matter what Santa brings. Don't need lots of presents or design a thing. Forget about all the silly family feud. Gather round together 'cause there's no excuse. May all your dreams and wishes come true. 'Cause the best part of Christmas is you.
Awesome. I love it. Everyone, Nicki Kris again. You can keep up with her at nickikris.com. That's NICKIKRIS. And that's why I want to call her Chrissy. nickikris.com. And she'll be back on the show on January 20th. And so Steve Schneickert is back on our show January 6th. And he's going to be doing a Hollywood history to do with Abraham Lincoln. We have a whole feature we're doing because we're doing this whole amazing new campaign where we're connecting Glenn Burrows over in Norfolk, England, from Norfolk Tours, and Stephanie McMillan in Kentucky, in Springfield, Kentucky. We're going to go see her this year. 2019. She is located where Abraham Lincoln's family was born. His parents were born, and she also has the oldest courthouse and all the documents in the country.
That's awesome.
It's the oldest county, Washington County of the state, not of the country. I'm going to get in trouble.
Yes.
Anyway, where Glenn is, that is the ancestral home of Abraham Lincoln's parents, so especially on the Lincoln side. So we're going to be doing some really special things in connecting Kentucky and England together through Abraham Lincoln's history. There's also the Lincoln Heritage Trail. We're going to be doing a whole feature, and there's some special things happening. We'll be talking about it on January 6th. Holly will be on there. On the show, Holly Hansen will be. I just found out today she's going to be there. She's going to be in Yuma, so we get to meet her.
That's going to be so much
fun.
Just
so exciting. But she says she has a family history story to tell that has to do with Abraham Lincoln.
See, already.
See. We want the gossip, Holly. We want the gossip. But anyway, Steve will be on the show with his Hollywood history segment talking about Abraham Lincoln. But first, it's Christmas. So here's a little Hollywood history from Steve Schneickert. Enjoy.
'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Silver bells, it's Christmas time in the city. Come, they told me, pum-pum-pum, me and my drum. It is holiday time again. Before you snuggle up on the couch in front of the TV with a bowl of popcorn, a plate of cookies, and your mugs of hot chocolate, you first have to decide just what films to view. Truth be told, there have been many memorable holiday movies made in recent years, but the old classic ones continue to be real favorites for the young and old alike. It's a Wonderful Life, 1946. It seems to be everyone's favorite, and for good reason. In a world of conflict and cynicism, it is refreshing to see the nice guy, Jimmy Stewart, win in the end, and good triumph over evil. 1942's The Man Who Came to Dinner, starring Monty Woolley and Bette Davis. Admiration to Ms. Davis for accepting a secondary role at the time, for she was one of the biggest movie stars in the world, already having won 2 Best Actress Oscars. A Christmas Carol, 1938. This is my favorite version of the Charles Dickens classic by far, starring Reginald Owen as Ebenezer Scrooge and produced by MGM. 1947's The Bishop's Wife, starring David Niven and Loretta Young as the bishop and his wife. Cary Grant plays the angel sent in answer to a prayer that has been offered by the bishop. You're out of the woods, you're out of the dark, you're out of the night. The Wizard of Oz, 1939. A wonderful holiday classic, watching Dorothy follow the yellow brick road wearing her ruby reds while trying to get to the Emerald City to meet the all and powerful wizard. Meet Me in St. Louis, 1944. Judy Garland has kicked off those ruby reds to play Esther Smith. Vincent Minnelli's superb direction takes us to the beginning of the 20th century when electricity and long-distance phone calls were still marvels to behold. 1947's Miracle on 34th Street, starring Edmund Gwynn and Natalie Wood. Do you believe in Santa? Other wonderful film classics include 1942's Holiday Inn, 1944's Going My Way, and 1954's White Christmas, all 3 films starring Bing Crosby. 1937's Heidi, starring Shirley Temple, 1951's The Lemon Drop Kids starring Bob Hope, and 1934's Babes in Toyland, a.k.a. March of the Wooden Soldiers, a true Christmas classic starring Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years we all will be together, if the fates allow. So have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to all. I'm Steve Schneickert, and this is Hollywood History as I recall it.
I want cocoa now.
I want Christmas now.
I want chocolate. And I want to watch a movie. I love that. That's one of my favorites. Well, you know, I say that about every one of Steve's Hollywood History segments. I'm like, that's my favorite.
But it just really puts you in the mood for Christmas.
I know. I feel like I want to put tinsel everywhere now.
Now,
Like,
see how that is?
I want to be a child. What a cool segment today. What a cool show. I know we
awesome.
even went overtime, but, you know, that happens.
Well.
That happens when you're having fun.
That's right.
I know. I think people got to do their family tree and dig into, because you understand, you understand what people have done and had to go through. You know, there's so much. I mean, life is easier now compared to what it was in the past.
Well, sure, and the holidays are a good opportunity to talk to relatives and to get to know them a little bit better, because Bobbi's right. We're all scattered all over the place.
Life has changed. Yeah. Life has changed, you know. But happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year. If I've missed out one of the holidays, I'm sorry. I just want everyone to be happy and celebrate family and celebrate the good things. There are good things, you know. Sometimes it doesn't feel that way with the news. But the reality is we get to make a choice of having a good time, and I think we can do that no matter what. So happy holidays, happy Christmas, everybody. Thank you for tuning into Big Blend Radio these years. We're very excited to be doing our 12th year next year.
I know.
Of Big Blend Radio,
Wow.
22nd year of Big Blend magazines, as through all our incarnations of being the Blend magazine, the San Diego publication that was in print in Northeast San Diego, to being Southwest Blend, then to Big Blend, and you know, here we are, Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. It's been quite a journey, and I'm just getting younger. I know you are, Nancy.
By the minute.
You are. You're much younger than when you started. That means we're going backwards. No, I'm kidding. But and thank you to all of our Big Blend experts like Holly and Bobbi and Steve who have been on our shows throughout the years. So many. You can find them all on blendradioandtv.com in our expert department. Read their articles, listen to their interviews. I want to thank also all the musicians who have been on our shows, and that we get to play their music. And we love playing independent music as we get to do. It's nice to not be playing Hotel California every single day on a radio station.
Although
there's nothing wrong with hotels.
Are good.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. All right. So, again, everyone, we will have our Sequoia segment. We love the Sequoias, one of our regions that we cover all the time. We have our next show is on December 28th. It's about winter in the Sequoias. So in Sequoia National Park, Kings Canyon, and Tulare County, all the surrounding communities. So that will be Friday, December 28th, and you can tune in at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Listen on demand. Again, everything is on bigblendradio.com, all the different outlets you can listen, whether it's YouTube or Stitcher or Spreaker or iTunes. I mean, it's all there. It should be, right? Unless an elf stole it.
Well, there's one on the shelf.
There's an elf on the shelf because I asked him to help me with all the work we have to do by January 1st, and the elf said, I'm sitting. That's it. Give me my cocoa. All right, so thank you, everybody, for joining us again, and we're going to close with this beautiful song, My Christmas Wish, from Nicki Kris. Again, keep up with her at nikkikris.com, and also familyhistoryexpos.com. If you're going to start your family history this holiday season, I mean, there's no time like the present, right? That's the website to go to.
Go question your relatives.
That's right. Go be the investigator. Be the family investigator, but keep it nice.
Yeah.
All right. Here it is. My Christmas wish. Happy holidays, everybody.
It's getting cold outside. The twinkling lights shine like rainbows in the night. Wherever you are, wherever you may be, staring at my Christmas tree, wishing you were here with me. Gonna take that star off the top of my tree, throw it in the sky for the whole world to see. Gonna make my Christmas wish and let its light shine down on me, for peace and love and happiness, where we all live in harmony. Can you see my Christmas star? Can you hear my song? Will you keep it in your heart all year long? My Christmas wish may keep you strong. A wish for those we love, may they come home where they belong. Christmas cheer, mistletoe, presents under the tree. Don't mean a thing if you're not here with me. Little girls and little boys see excitement in their eyes. Wouldn't it be better if mommy or daddy were their surprise? Gonna take that star off the top of my tree, throw it in the sky for the whole world to see. Gonna make my Christmas wish and let its light shine down on me, for peace and love and happiness, where we all live in harmony. Can you see my Christmas star? Can you hear my song? Will you keep it in your heart all year long? My Christmas wish may keep you strong. A wish for those we love, may they come home where they belong. Can you see my Christmas star? Can you